adjourn. Any additions or corrections to the minutes of the meeting, last meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
What are we doing?
Under page 1's water department, that should be 6 inches, 6-inch apron, 80 by 45 by 6 inches. And on page 4, beginning with ordinance 3496 and everything below, not sure that that's the way it really went down, so we probably need to revise that.
You're on page 4?
I'm on page 4 at the very bottom.
I think that maybe was tabled.
The ordinance was,
Yes.
but the,
Ordinance 3495,
yes,
it was tabled.
96,
96.
96, 3496. That was tabled, and
Yes.
then the, everything below that looks to me like it should be at the very end, because that's after we came out of executive session. And I'm not sure the street department information, do we want to include that in our minutes?
Well, you give a summary of the, yeah, you give a summary of what went on in the street department.
That was the motion they made there, they just report, the department report we gave. I thought the public should be aware of how much Doug Phelps does down there.
That's fine, I'm just saying that seems to me it's in the wrong place, but you guys do what you want. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, ordinance 3496 is under old business.
That was tabled.
It's
It was
up there,
tabled.
3496.
Yes, yeah, it's under old business, it was tabled.
Yeah, it's tabled.
That should say tabled out to the side of it, I'm sorry.
It's the only corrections I've got.
Okay.
Noted.
You have a vote? Okay, thank you. Okay, we have some proclamations and certificates of appreciation we're gonna do right now. Kenny, we'll get you first. Certificate of appreciation to Kenneth Gabriel for extraordinary service and dedication to the City of Marion for 35 years. Kenny was our janitor at the senior citizens, and I'll tell you what, this guy took pride in that building. And we hope going forward that whoever takes his place takes it with the same pride. Kenny treated that building just like it was his own home, and we are forever grateful for that. So, Kenny, thank you. Latina, would
Yes.
you like to come up and say anything on behalf of being his final superintendent?
I'd like to say that Kenny is, like he said, over and above. He had been there 20 years prior to me being there, so we worked together for 16 years. Kenny takes notice of all kinds of little things. He's very observant, and he took pride in the building, very much so. Anyone can attest that they like to come to seniors. The bathrooms are always clean. They knew they were welcome to come, and just commend him for an excellent employee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Once stay up there, Latina, why don't you come back here, and all you guys get together, and we'll take a picture right here.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Jim, you gotta get in closer to this.
could see it over my head.
It's gonna get sick.
That is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And thank you, Kenny.
Are the- I'm assuming the Girl Scouts aren't here tonight. Okay. Well, then this next one, I'll try to get through without breaking down. This next one is, for an individual that's moved from Mount Vernon to Marion. And when he came down here, he hit, the ground with his feet running, and when you talk about civic minded, you gotta talk about Penny Bagby. And, our flags will never be lowered again in the manner that Penny lowered them. I'm not saying we won't have somebody do a good job, but Penny would bring them all the way down and then back up, and I'm just telling you, when you looked at those flags, they were half-staff. And that's just the way it was. And it just wasn't here, it was at the Elks, the library, other places, but that was just Penny. And he put his heart and soul into everything he did, whether it be at the Elks Club, or the VA, or the Knights of Columbus, or doing things for the City of Marion. Penny Bagby did it to the best of his ability. So I got a proclamation here I'm gonna read. Is any of his family here?
No.
No.
We've got some people here to.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Ralphie, you wanna go this
I
way?
can when he's ready.
Huh?
You wanna
You're
do
ready for us to
We're
go?
ready.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me,
Did you guys wanna come up there?
So you guys, yeah, come on up here. I mean, you're friends of Penny's, and you know what he meant to this community, and well, I was up there, and anybody went to the visitation, it took me 2 hours to get through. And that's saying a lot. So it'd take them 2 minutes to get through mine, but Penny's there was people from all over, and that's just saying a lot for the type of individual. So anyway, I had to ask the question, where did he come from? Well, they thought, his mother thought she was finally gonna have a girl, and she was gonna name her Penny. So lo and behold, when Clarence come out, she stuck with calling him Penny. And that's where that comes from. So, I don't think they was pulling my leg, but they was acting, serious about it, so that's where it was. Whereas Clarence Penny Bagby Jr. lived on this earth for 81 years, 6 months, and 19 days, and whereas Clarence Penny Bagby departed this world February 15, 2019, and whereas Clarence Penny Bagby Jr. proudly served his country in the United States Army, and whereas Clarence Penny Bagby was General Manager and Vice President of E. Blankenship and Company for 44 years, and whereas Clarence Penny Bagby volunteered for many agencies such as Mount Vernon AMVETS Post 4, AMVETS SADSACS, Elks Club of Mount Vernon and Marion, Mount Vernon American Legion Post 41 Sportsman Club, and whereas Clarence Penny Bagby was a 3rd-degree member of the Knights of Columbus and past president of the St. Joseph Parish Council, and whereas Clarence Penny Bagby was a recipient of many awards on behalf of veterans such as Illinois Outstanding Leadership Award, Elk State of the Year, and State White Clover 7 times. And whereas Clarence Penny Bagby Jr. was the winner of the 2016 Marion Chamber of Commerce Mayor's Service Award. And now, therefore, I, Anthony L. Rinella, Mayor of the City of Marion, on behalf of the City of Marion, declare that from now and this day forward, February 14th, February 15th, shall be known as Clarence Penny Bagby Day Jr. in the City of Marion.
Very good.
Ralph, any remarks?
on behalf of the family, I accept this. To every person person standing with me today. This man has touched lives. He's touched lives that a lot of people don't realize how much he's touched.
And I'll say this, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit later. Something Penny would have been proud and would have just dove into big time. And on May 2nd of this year, through the 5th at the VA hospital, the Vietnam Memorial is gonna be the moving wall. And you just know that just as soon as he found out, Penny would have been in tune with this thing, and what can I do to help? And I told him from the VA today, I said, you know, they go, you know anybody that wants to volunteer? I said, I know somebody that would have volunteered, but I said, he just passed away, and they knew, well, of course they knew Penny, so anyway, they knew that, so, but anyway, that's just the type of individual he was, and he's been a lot to my family for many, many years, and we're gonna miss him. So, it's like I told his wife, I said, on behalf of a grateful community, you know, we give our utmost condolences, and he will be sorely missed, not only in Marion, but in southern Illinois and Illinois as well.
The council.
What?
The council want to stand up?
Stan?
Can y'all get together somehow, a little more? I can't get y'all in the picture.
Yeah,
You gotta squeeze in there, guys.
come on.
The butler says turn sideways.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Thank you.
Is that under?
Gentlemen, you need to address the council.
Those are interns.
Those are interns.
Those are the interns.
Okay. So,
We can do it now or we can wait. It's whatever you want to do.
bring it on. Since I called them out, bring them on.
The,
All right. Nice talking to you.
Very nice.
Quick news, Star Wars. Do you talk first? I talk first.
All right. So let's try to.
Hey, Doug, could you turn that camera?
Yeah, could you do that?
get his good side,
Yeah.
if you find one.
My turn is present. All right, so it won't take up a whole lot of your time. I want to introduce a couple of the interns, or at least one of them that we had working with us. Last year, we had first instituted internship for the City of Marion. So we had some IT guys come over from John A. Actually, what we found out later on is that they actually paid for this class to come here to learn and all that. The college is definitely very proud of them. There are other colleges wanting to send more of them down and to do some things. I'll let Devin talk here and talk about some of the projects that we've got going on at the library. And he's now one of the instructors over there.
So, my name is Devin, and I actually started at the internship that they had over at the Marion IT department. And from there, I got a lot of the skills that would later allow me to go on to start this programming job that we have. me along with my fellow associate here, Jared Ponton, we are teaching some of the 10 to 12-year-olds in the area programming skills, which is a very useful skill in today's society. I went to Crab Orchard, so we didn't have classes like that when I was in school, and they're starting to get some programs up, but a lot of kids these days do not have the capabilities or the means to actually learn these skills themselves. So we are being paid to show these kids some of the ins and outs of programming and teaching them these skills that will look good on a resume and will hopefully help them get employed later on. We've been teaching them pretty much the basics, so what they can take that we've taught them is applicable to almost any computer programming language that they really want to go with. So it's essentially learning syntax from there. Overall, it's been a very good experience to learn how to not only teach, but to see how these kids learn and just see the pieces kind of clicking for them. It's kind of
You're also teaching the 3D printer.
Yes. On top of that, we're also working with getting a 3D printing course set up where we can actually teach these kids how to work with a 3D printer, which is another skill that is very useful and will look great on the resume these days. And we have one currently getting set up at the library. We'd just be showing them how to make models and then build things pretty much at their own pace, and with that you can make whatever you wish.
How many kids will you teach per week?
It kind of varies based on the schedules of the parents. Traditionally, we have somewhere between 6 and 8 in and out, but this is only our first semester, I suppose you could say. With starting next fall, we're hoping to get a lot more kids in since we're getting more advertising out, hopefully reaching more children.
This is being done in our library?
Yeah.
Marion Council Library.
So last year, I believe it was last year, I'd say probably around September, October, we spoke with Dale, and Dale gave us a free 3D printer with all the ink and everything else that's included with it. We went to John A. to talk with their instructors and everything else, and these guys were, very adept with using the printer and making different things. The library applied for a grant, which helps them, become paid, have a paid position. So it's a grant, so it's not like a city job, it's a grant that we have to help pay for that. But those classes that we offer at the library, those are free classes. So you don't have to pay for them or anything else. And the kids are so into coding and learning how to print, and do all these things. You can give a 3-year-old an iPad and they'll look pretty good at it.
You're right.
And I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Jared Ponton. I'm actually from West Frankfort, but I've been going to John A. like my friend here, for the past, now it'd be 3 to 4 years since I switched majors over to cybersecurity, information assurance, and computer forensics. And like he said, there's really not much more I can add to it. It's been a great experience, and what I see these kids learning isn't just a hobby. This is something that's very much going to be more applicable to them in the real life going forward as technology advances, as math and science-based industries and businesses become more prominent and more appealing. I mean, I'm an example as someone who switched majors to it. These kids are eventually going to be growing up into it as probably their first choice of careers and like just ways of life, really. And like Terrence said, the class was free, and it showed because we got a big range of kids. We had some kids that had already experienced some coding before, and honestly didn't even really need our help as much as it was just a little bit of a push in the right direction. While others, you could tell it was their very first time, but they were still so eager to learn, and we tried to make it fun for them so that way they would keep on coming back and enjoy learning more. And by the end of it, you could tell where they had started from versus where they were by the end of it. There was definitely a difference that had been made, and that's what obviously we were looking for, and we were very happy to achieve it.
Well done, thank you.
I got one more thing. We we've got another young lady, she could not make it, and so she'll beat me up if I didn't say anything. So she wrote it down for me. Alexis Winters. I call her a Cadillac because her name's Alexis. You know, it's our little inside joke. But anyway, Alexis, I got it right this time. I'm currently.
Alexis, we get it.
All right, can I finish?
Give it to us.
I'm currently studying cybersecurity information assurance. I have been interning at the City of Marion for about 4 months now. I will soon be going to a conference in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for women in cybersecurity field. I was one of the few women that had applied for a scholarship for the conference and was accepted. This is an amazing opportunity, and I can't wait to experience this conference with my fellow classmates. This is a very important conference because there are very few women in this particular field. So we're definitely proud of her and her accomplishments. I think you're also going to that?
We are helping them go, but we were not going to get their scholarships because it was the women conference. And
all right, say no more. I'm out. All right, so I just wanted to introduce the guys and the girls. We'll have some more coming, so they just wanted to say some words of encouragement, you know, and the things that they've done and at the library and all that. So
Very interesting.
yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, you can leave it.
Good to see you again, Terrence.
All right, see you guys.
You need to address the council.
Are they,
Good?
We're good.
You're good.
Terrence, are they teaching you or you teaching them? Just a question.
Yeah, we learn from each other. I guess you can learn a lot from a dummy.
Well, I will say this, my little cousin Dax was one of the first ones, and
That's right.
Terrence told him right off the bat, what goes on in IT stays in IT. So I asked him one day, I said, how's it going? He goes, good. I said, what are you doing? He goes, programming radios in the police cars. I said, well, what are you doing? He goes, well, I can't tell you. What do you mean you can't tell me? I said, I can't tell you. I said, he says, it's confidential information. I said, Dax, I'm the mayor. He goes, I'm not telling you. I said, well, okay. All right. So anyway, but yeah, he loved it, and it's a good program.
Avoid me like the plague, huh?
James, come on.
How you all doing?
Good, how are you?
New Marion City Attorney. Okay.
Yeah, break him in easy. All
Okay.
right, you know, you got 5 minutes.
Oh, how about 7?
I might go 6.
Well, somewhere like that. I tell you what,
You're on clock right now.
well, I feel like Jonah. I was telling Dennis Ball a while ago, I felt like Jonah. The reason I'm here is I do not want some kind of big fish or well experience, so to say, you know. So the Holy Spirit told me at 3 o'clock today to put this together. I found out there was a city council meeting, and so this is why I'm here. And the reason I'm here, my name is Jim Johnson. I am 65 years old. I live at 1205 North Van Buren, Marion, Illinois. And I'm a Christian, patriotic, constitutional American. And the reason that I'm here is I'm trying to prevent a potential murder 2 days from now. And I believe the Lord's told me what to tell you all. The occultic number 23 is the number of incident to the Illuminati. Julius Caesar was stabbed 23 times. During the 9/11 attacks, the numbers 9/11, 2001 all equaled 23. Even famous occultist Aleister Crowley is credited for inventing Winston Churchill's V for victory hand sign during World War II. 2 fingers up, 3 fingers down, 23. On February 27, 2019, which is 2 plus 2 plus 7 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9 equal 23. President Trump is going to Vietnam, of all places, to speak to Kim Jong-un, who became a Freemason in Switzerland when he was going to college there. I personally believe it's all set up for the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump's assassination. The American public should communicate with the White House and warn the President of the United States and tell him not to go to Vietnam on the 27th. Mayor Ranella, you can again send the Secret Service to my house if you like, so I can express my concerns.
And it worked out last time.
Yes, it did work out. I do not want to see our great president assassinated again. Again, I do not want to see Donald J. Trump assassinated. I do not want to see our president assassinated. The Illuminati, the European Rothschild and American Rockefellers, and 200 Luciferian Jewish families worldwide plan on murdering Donald J. Trump in or out of office. History of our United States presidents assassinated proves this to be the case. There are no exceptions to the rule for U.S. presidents who choose to serve the American people with American sovereignty, America first, over Luciferian Jewish, created and controlled one world government or globalism. Remember, Presidents Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, James Monroe, and Zachary Taylor were all poisoned on July 4th with arsenic by the Illuminati through the Masonic Lodge. The 4 United States presidents openly assassinated by gunshot was on a Friday representing the crucifixion of Jesus the Christ, and the Friday avengement of the arrest of the Catholic monarchs of Grand Master Knights Templar Jacques de Molay, who was the 23rd and last Grand Master of the Knights Templar. He was arrested Friday the 13th, October 1307. Please note, 23. Presidents Abraham Lincoln, James Garfield, William McKinley, and John F. Kennedy were intentionally assassinated on a Friday, all on a Friday, by Luciferian Jews. Lincoln was assassinated on a Good Friday. My concern for President Trump is because of Kennedy's assassination. Kennedy's murder was set up a year in advance in Dallas, Texas. You can find out exactly why and who did it on the internet. But it was set up
1 minute warning.
and concerned through the Masonic Lodge. Vice President Lyndon Baines Johnson was a Jew and a 33rd degree Freemason. He insisted that President John F. Kennedy and his wife visit Dallas, Texas on the date of November 23rd, 1963, or the strong occultic Illuminati numbers of 11, 11, 11, and 19, meaning a reoccurrence of doom. The assassination of Lincoln and Kennedy are paralleled by the European Rothschild family through the ultra-secret organization called the Illuminati, using the Masonic Lodge, communism, and the Khazarian Jewish mafia. The Illuminati always has their man in place with a Freemasonic vice president when they kill a U.S. president. Believe it or not, Mike Pence is a Freemasonic plant. However, the Illuminati hates him because of his Christian confessions and beliefs.
10-second warning.
They will eventually kill him also and make a Jewish communist like Nancy Pelosi president of the United States. I'm just going to briefly tell you this. The Democratic Party has been hijacked by Jewish communists. And I'm talking about Pelosi, and I'm talking about Schumer, and I'm talking about Bernie Sanders, who even admits he's a socialist, which is communism under another name. But anyway, they want to bankrupt this country. If they kill Trump, they kill Pence, you got Nancy Pelosi for president, then what they're going to do is they're going to pull the plug on the stock market and then call in martial law and take away everything that we have. I'll leave it at that, since Lawler here wants me to quit talking. Our governor even is a Jew. Our new doggone governor is a Jew that's going to try to bankrupt the state of Illinois by borrowing money from international banks. He wants to legalize marijuana. That's a communist ploy to get people all messed up in their minds and all that stuff. He wants to take away our guns. People better wake up, and people need to notify President Trump. Notify President Trump of his potential assassination 2 days from now. And I believe the Lord Jesus the Christ has sent me here to tell you all that and tell the American people that. And I'll leave it at that. Of course, I've got more, but I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, is anybody, okay, is.
5 minutes.
Well, as long as you're not gonna use this as a political agenda for your campaign.
What does that mean?
You can't come up here and campaign for mayor in a council meeting. That's exactly what it means.
What's Daddy talking about, what he wants to talk about?
Well, as long as he's not campaigning for mayor.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
The question has to do with an article or a TV
Come up here.
clip.
Can you come up here so we can hear him?
Oh, okay.
It has to do with the TV3 clip that Mike Absher had proposed with the mall. It has to do with all the mayoral candidates. And you had said you would not use any taxpayer money and that you would attract development through TIF district. Can you clarify what you mean? Because that seems like a contradiction to me.
I said I would not expend any more taxpayers' dollars on the mall. Now, you know, and I'm not gonna get into it about that mall. That mall is in a bankruptcy court. The city doesn't own that mall. We have no control over it. A TIF district was established to give incentives to a potential developer for the mall. That's very plain and simple. Not, I mean, it shouldn't be hard to figure out. Two totally different things of what I said there, but I don't know how you personally construed it. But I said what I said, and I stand by it. If I'm mayor, and when I get elected mayor, no more taxpayer dollars are going out there. They can use the incentives through the TIF development for anything they deem necessary, and is an eligible expense under the TIF laws.
Yeah, TIF is tax increment funding.
I know what it's financing.
Okay, so,
Tax increment financing.
right.
It is a state statute which gives municipalities a tool to attract business and help them reimburse for their developmental cost.
Right.
And if you wanna look in Marion, it's been pretty successful, Dennis.
Well, I know you have most TIF districts in the whole state are right here in Williamson County.
No, they're not.
So
That's the reason we're having it.
it's attracted a lot of private industry here. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I just,
No, because, you know, when you, there's a big difference in the public sector and private sector. The private sector is for profit. They don't make money, they're not in business. In the public sector, we're community orientated and for social development and community development. So, you know, I really don't know why you're standing up there and asking me for a clarification, because what I said was pretty clear and concise in its content.
okay, well, what I'm asking you is, there's no taxpayer money from what you're saying that you will spend on the mall, but then you will attract people with the tax increment financing. That includes the taxpayers, did you know that?
I'm more than, no, it doesn't.
Especially how they do their deal.
Do you know how it's used? Let me just kind of give you a real quick scenario. You know, guy comes in, wants to bring a business into Marion, and he's in a TIF district. And so he uses his own money and capital to develop his business. And then in that, through TIF, there are eligible expenses that are reimbursable to him over a period of 23 years or however many years is left in that TIF. But it's monies that he has paid and submitted for reimbursements that is paid back to him over a period of time. It's his money. He come in here with his own money, his own capital, and develop something that wasn't there. Now, I don't know where you've been, but if you remember what all that was out there, that was, you know, unclaimed, for a lot of it, it was unclaimed strip mines. And through TIF and developers, they have turned that around and made it a very productive part of this city, which through that development, we have used in other parts of the city to enhance it and to, you know, put in new water lines, new sewer lines, our streets, you know, just many, many things. And it all started out there, you know, and it started with that mall.
Mm-hmm.
It did. I mean, that was a stepping stone for everything else.
Right.
And it's a shame it's got to where it's at. We have no control over that. And it's not our property, and as long as it sits up there in bankruptcy court, anybody can speculate whatever they think they can or want to do, but for right now, you know, it's just a fantasy.
Right, and I appreciate where you're coming from. My concerns is that it not turn into a black hole where the taxpayers are gonna be on the hook. I mean, right now, those bonds that were created back 30 years ago still being paid on. And anything new that comes down the pipe that the taxpayers would be responsible for, I'm not for.
Well, and I think that's what I told you myself. I'm not either. But let me tell you something. I don't know where you're coming with the bonds, but I can tell you in 3 years, sir, the city will be out of indebtedness for the mall. 3 years. And that's costing us about $1.5 million a year. And in 3 years, 2021, we have absolved ourselves of all debt. And I sit here as mayor today, and this council around me, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that no burden is placed on the taxpayers to pay off those debts in the next 3 years. And I think we did a pretty good job. Fortunately, you know, in Marion, we have enough sales revenue coming in that where we can abate all the taxes out there and not burden the taxpayer, never have, and we're gonna continue that for the next 3 years, get it paid off, and then hopefully by that time, and I think that will be the miraculous time when things go away and development and ideas and dialogue can start about what can we do to make this thing prosperous again.
Okay.
Thank you,
Good.
Mr. Ball,
Thank
for your
you.
time. Okay, number 1, animal control. Angelo is giving that to me. Actually, if anybody knows, we've had some issues down there with health of our workers. Shayna wanted us to get her some part-time help, and we have. I submit before the council the names of Ashley Strobel and Eric Wayne Johnson. These individuals have met all pre-employment requirements of the city, and it's my recommendation of the council to employ these individuals as part-time animal control officers.
Second. Or I'll make that.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, call the roll.
Leave rock in the driveway.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yeah.
They took all that rock out.
Yeah.
That new road
Commissioner
down.
Webb?
Yeah.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yay.
Mayor Michelle?
It's not got rock in it.
Mayor
You know
Michelle?
that.
Yay.
I'm kinda surprised that you're not listening.
Commissioner Goss, I understand
Yeah. I had that fellow come to explain this deal, I
This-
think, pulled up a coup off of you.
water, wasn't it?
The water department, yeah, well, it is water department, so.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Anyhow, I think you have smarter than again.
The past summer, the water department has a larger traco that, had very few hours on it. And, they were gracious enough to let us use it, and we've continued using it and, maintaining it. And Scott was wanting to get a small one, for his department, and, I'd like to have council's approval to purchase that, E80 traco from the water department that we currently using, so that they can, purchase a small one.
Well, you won't have to purchase it, we'll just merely make
It's a trade.
we'll just merely make a transfer, and then you can buy the new one out of your funds.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, we'll just transfer.
that's basically what we're gonna do, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we'll just transfer property from one to the other.
And then I'll purchase the new one.
We'll have to have approval to purchase that,
Yeah, what do you think, Doug?
so you have to bring that next meeting.
Plus
or
10%?
I think 15.
15? Good. Yeah, that's,
Okay,
okay.
yeah, they had a bid, a municipal discount, so, it is a good deal.
Okay.
So we're giving you a motion to purchase that E90?
To purchase the small one in trade for the
E90.
E80, yeah.
Well, actually, what we're gonna do is transfer
Well, I understand that. We've got to
transfer
buy it,
assets from one department to another, and
but
you're
we
gonna
still
buy
have to
the,
buy one.
The
Yes.
E80 goes to you guys, the E42 T4 is what we need, and that's what we need approval to
Yes.
purchase. And I believe
do we
the
have
price,
bids on those?
we have the price, right?
Yes, $46,331.
I got, yeah, 46,231
Now
is
we
what I
get
got.
down to that. So you need approval of 46,000, how much?
$331.
$331 to purchase whatever bottle that said.
E42 T4.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a
Thank you.
motion and a second.
Thank you.
Plus 10% or 15%.
Well, I was gonna add 30% on for help.
30%.
Does this come with a trailer, or do we have trailers?
We've got trailers. Thank you.
Well, we were having to haul the big one whenever they used it, but it had such a low hours, they didn't have a use for that big one, but they had no way to haul the big one to start with, so. And if there's a reason that they would have to go over the depth, the small ones, well, we're still in conjunction with them, helping them with the big one, so.
Absolutely, we help each other.
Yep, that's right, thank you.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing no further discussion, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Renal.
Yay. Chris?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. This evening I've got on item number 3 for Hub Recreation Center, I've got one new employee recommendation. For part-time employment, Peyton Barnett, for fitness attendant, $9 an hour, tackle football sports staff, $9 an hour, and flag football sports staff at $9 an hour. And that is it, that's.
We got a motion, a second, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Renal.
Yay.
Thank you very much. And I do want to brag also on 2 of our traveling hub teams this past weekend. We had the Manta Rays swim team go to their championship meet, send 5 of our swimmers to the championship meet in Peoria, and had some second place finishes, 5th place and 6th place finishes, with a great number of improvements, several second improvements in breaststroke events, freestyle events. So we're very proud of them and the coaching staff, and we had two of our coaching staff go to that one, came in Nolan, and so they're doing great. They're going to several meets a year, and doing wonderful and seeing great accomplishment and great improvement. Another one of our teams, our club volleyball team, with Reggie as our director, They went to Sportsplex Blast tournament in Cape this weekend, and the 14 and under team brought home gold in that tournament. So that was a couple of great accomplishments this past weekend.
Now, let's talk about flag football, let's talk about tackle football.
Tackle football. Yes.
We got into the league?
We got into the league. We were this past season on a probationary basis. We were in the Central Illinois Junior Football League, and Alec and Malcolm went to the league meeting this past Saturday. Thanks for bringing that up. And we were at the start of that meeting voted into that league. Wonderfully organized league. That meeting in Effingham, and we have 2 assured home games. We came home with the schedule and 2 assured home games, and Alec is now at this time working on additional home games that are possible through the season. So, yeah, great move in the right direction with the football league and for tackle football.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 4, ordinance 3498, vacating Morningside Phase 11 subdivision, Jerry Bears. Actually, what Jerry has got planned here, and the reason he's vacating this, he's got it sold to another developer. And by vacating this allows the new developer to take any exemptions that would be warranted him as a developer. So Jerry's got to vacate the subdivision as it's platted, and then I think, Gail, or do you know if the
plans are to replat it, once it's vacated, the plans are to replat it just as it exists now, the only change being is the owner's name.
Okay.
It will be replatted as is, as it presently exists, after it's vacated.
Okay, lot, same size?
Same size, everything.
There's no existing homes on it now.
No, it's just a vacant field right now.
Where is it located?
Pardon?
Where is it located?
It's at the northeast corner of the Morningside development.
Okay.
And the permits have been obtained for water, sewer. The road's been approved, the design of the road's been approved.
And the water drainage?
It's all been approved. It's ready to go. We've got detention basins.
Okay.
And so, once it's vacated, it'll be back to the next council meeting as it was originally platted with different owners now.
I remember right, it was 40-some lots, wasn't it? 42 or 3?
I don't know yet. It's low 40s. I'm not sure the exact number, Jim.
My only concern is, Glenn, that this looks like it's gonna go as it is, right? Just another subdivision that's available for housing lots. Our ordinance says that streets, when they end, need to end on or with a cul-de-sac. And my concern is if the streets are platted just as they are, we don't have anything to worry about because the streets will be extended. But in the case or in the event that it doesn't, my concern is that the land will just sit there with a dead-end street. Is there any provision that we can provide that would guarantee us cul-de-sacs to be built at the end of those in the event that it doesn't get developed?
As it exists right now, no. Now, provisions could be made, but what we had now is be built in phases. He built it to a certain point and stopped, picked it up, built it to a certain point and stopped. Master plan, there would be no dead-end streets.
Right.
And it sat there in the master plan for several years with a dead-end street. And if the plan is proposed and laid out, there's no dead-end streets, and they're all looped together and they're tied together. Now, only thing we can do is approve that, and you have control by issuing building permits if this isn't done.
Right.
Now, that's something that needs to be addressed also.
But we don't require any bonding for a subdivision plan?
Not right now. But, you can take the bonding, or you can take that there be no building permits issued until the streets, water, and sewer are complete in front of any residents that ask for a building permit.
Is that existing now, Glenn?
I'm not sure.
I think it is. We're not supposed to issue anything unless it's approved.
Okay.
I understand. Okay.
But we have.
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
Yeah. Doug, in as much as what you're saying, until the streets, the storm sewer, the water and sewer lines are put in to subdivision ordinance specifications, then.
I don't think there should be any building permits provided out there, period,
Now,
until that's done.
okay, you've got a 40-lot this issue would come up, you've got a 40-lot subdivision. He gets half of it done, he's working on the other half, and he says, I'd like to get a building permit where this street's complete and the water and sewer's here for this house. Do they get one there, or do they wait until all of it, the 40 lots are done?
No, I don't think it would be good sense for us to say, you can't have it until they're all done.
Okay.
We're
Because,
doing that out of Zellers at, off Old Prairie Road now, or even approving the road as it goes.
Well, he's put down the binder, yeah, part of it, he put
Yeah.
the binder, he's waiting to put the surface course on.
We'll approve to that point, and then he'll,
Till he gets all the concrete trucks and everything through there, and if there's a bad spot to patch, he fixes that. And then the last thing he does is put the surface course on, which should hold it then.
yeah.
Let me ask you this, and I think we've seen it be successful here on South Market Street. In going forward with these, putting in these streets, you think we need to maybe consider making part of our subdivision ordinance a requirement that they put down the subline base? Is
Possibly.
that too much government?
The subdivision ordinance needs to be addressed. That's old, it's outdated,
Yeah.
we've had 2 or 3 revisions to it, it's a mess.
Well,
completely
and
agree.
we've all been given copies of the international building maintenance, and I think
Time to do it.
I think it's time to do it to some degree. I think down here in Southern Illinois, it may be a little bit too restrictive, but there are things that we do need to do, and need to address, and going forward with future councils and development. You know, I don't think we wanna prohibit anybody into developing here in Marion, but at the same time, that it's our obligation as a council to make sure that the people that are buying those lots and moving into those subdivisions and homes are, you know, the subdivision is upheld to the ordinance.
The example that was used was the Zeller Justin Roy subdivision at the old golf course.
Right.
Doug Phillips was out there, and he approved the subgrade before they put the crushed stone sub-base grading material on. And he had 3 or 4 places he had to dig out and fix up and repair it. Then we proof rolled the sub-base grading material with big trucks. If there's any soft spots or unstable spots, he fixed that. And then the next piece, he'd come along with the binder course. It was like a 3-step process. That is exactly the way it should be done.
Right.
And that makes a good street, and that's in the developer's best interest too.
Right.
Because he's paying a contractor in most instances to do this. And he's not getting what he's paying for many times. And we got a good road out there now that I'm comfortable with, it'll last, but it was done in steps. Fix the subgrade,
Yeah.
fix the sub-base granular, put your binder course on, hold up on it till you get all your heavy trucks over it and things. If there's any failures, fix those, then put the surface course on, you got a good road.
Yeah, that's what Doug Phillips, you know, he said, oh, yeah, I'm gonna approve it.
And the water line the same way, make sure all the valves are open, make sure you've run your leakage test to make sure there's no leaks. Fire flow, have the fire department out there to fire flow your hydrants. Check off, have the superintendent sign off on them. You don't have any problems now.
No.
I'd like to see sidewalks be required in subdivisions also, at some point.
That should be.
Down where to walk, let me go down Fair Street, on the morning side there.
Yeah.
They will have to walk in the street, and there's a lot of traffic goes through there.
Now, that's in the new subdivision ordinance that already put
Should
in.
have it.
It is?
No, I said it should.
Oh, I was gonna say.
And to address,
Okay, yeah.
to address the new subdivision, things like this, it desperately needs to be updated.
Yeah, we got a lot of hazards out there, a lot of high traffic, nowhere to walk, right out in the middle of the road.
And the detention pond as well,
Yes.
because I'm in the middle of paying a bunch of money on that nonsense now.
I can't hear you.
The detention pond, I live out there and we're in the middle of a litigation on one of those.
You know,
We're getting stuck with it.
they go right through there, don't they?
Well, the developer developed it without going into too much info, and I'm getting stuck with the bill on it.
Yeah. I hear you.
And those issues
Talking
need to
about
be
the one
addressed.
down there on the end of,
You're talking about Morningside subdivision.
Same subdivision.
Same subdivision,
That's essentially
Morningside
an extension
subdivision.
from where I live.
Yeah. It was designed strictly for a detention basin.
Yeah.
And it was marketed in a different manner then.
Been a problem.
Yeah, you get 18 homeowners, about $3,000 a piece into it right now. They're extremely
I know it.
agitated by the situation.
Most of it litigation fees from,
Most of it, yeah, and there was issues with other issues, not the city's problem, but drainage specifically, levels of it that had to be messed with because it was messing with the city's roads. Not, the city didn't cause the problem, the developer caused the issue, but that's going into a whole different thing. But it caused problems with the roadway that Doug had to
well,
fix.
he raised the level of the pond so it would dig up to your lots. But when he did that, there was a reason for the level, because as he raised it up, it caused flooding out on the street.
Right.
So we had to come back and knock those blocks off to
Yeah.
knock the level down, so
Way
we
down.
could get water in the street, which then backed the water away from the lots, which the homeowner said, I'm supposed to get a quote lakefront lot, and he didn't.
Which essentially ended up being 24 inches of algae-filled water that smelled horrible with a bunch of dead fish in it.
I would think we ought to form a committee to address this problem. We talk it, but we don't do anything about it. No fault of any of us, but I think we need a committee to form to redo our subdivision ordinance. If you can think somebody smart enough to get on it. Don't look at me.
I'll volunteer.
Chairman, thank you.
I'll do it. Needs to be done.
It sure does.
Needs to be done.
Anybody from your office like to be part of that?
One of us will.
And I think Doug Phillips, somebody in the street.
Hey, I got an idea.
Doug Phillips would be
Let's,
good.
let's
Well,
vote Brian in, cause he's down in Nassau County, and you know how that is, you don't show up. Okay, thank you.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course, it depends on what happens April 2nd, but I'd be glad to be part of that too.
Should be.
Oh, anybody should, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Number 5, we're tabling, it is what it is. This is a subdivision of, plat, for the Marriott subdivision, the new motel on, halfway?
I don't think we voted on 4, Anthony.
We did not vote on 4?
Vacated.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion? Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Manella.
Yay. Okay, we're tabling number 5, I think it's pretty, clear why we are, so. Okay, ordinance number 3500. Ordinance approving and authorizing execution of professional service agreement for the establishment and administration of the Marion Highland Street Tax Increment Financing District by and between the City of Marion and Jacob and Klein LTD and the Economic Development Group LTD.
Okay, so this establishes a new TIF. We've done, if the council recalls, we did 2 inducement agreements, for, actually, one of them's already almost done. The building's right next to the police station, on the east side of the police station, there's a building, that would be one of the TIF projects. And the other TIF project that would, so far in this new TIF is also, we did an inducement agreement about a month ago, on, it's where Fox's Flowers is going to be. It's on the, on D. Young and just right by the railroad track. And so that's, the group that will be utilizing the TIF district to start with, has both those projects. So this is a professional service agreement so that Jacob and Klein and the Economic Development Group can begin all of the paperwork and the necessary amendments, the public meetings, to begin, and so that would be, the council would be engaging them as their agent to take care of all of the legal necessities to formulate and establish a new TIF district. So that is what this ordinance does. And that would be for the legal services and the consultation and all the meetings.
And pretty much that's the same thing going forward with 3505, or
Yes.
3501, right?
3501 is an amendment to the existing, the council had approved, has already approved the North Commercial TIF District. Last meeting, the council approved an inducement agreement for Black Diamond to add a piece of land and a project to the TIF district that would be under North Commercial. So this amendment amends that property and puts it into that TIF. And so that would be both, and both projects will pay for themselves.
Okay, let's look at number 6, ordinance 3500.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 3500.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing no further discussion, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower. Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Vanella.
Yay.
No, it's not true.
Ordinance
He
3501.
owns Trudeau. He has a number of different companies.
Make that motion to adopt ordinance number 3501.
Second.
Something
Got a
else.
motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yes.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Vanella.
Yay. Okay, old business, ordinance 3496. This is some clarification on some verbiage that had to be done at the courthouse. We've met those obligations, and everything is been approved. Yes, it has. So we need to approve 3496.
I make the motion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Vanella.
Yay. Commissioner, anything for the council? Mr. Patton?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Webb?
Perfect.
Move we pay monthly bills, funds become available.
We have a motion to pay the bills as funds become available.
Second.
We have a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Patton.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Vanella.
Yay. Okay, I kinda alluded to this a little bit, in the early parts of the meeting. The VA hospital, we had a meeting with them today, and, Vietnam moving wall will be here May 2nd through 5th. It'll be on the VA medical grounds. This is, if you've ever been to it, this is pretty moving, to see this. Unfortunately, you'll see the names of those from Marion that exist on that wall. And right now, as it stands, opening ceremony will be at 5:30 at May 2nd, visitation till 10. May 3rd, wreath flyer laying ceremonies at 5 p.m. May 3rd, visitation from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. May 4th, rendezvous for Vietnam vets, 5 to 7 p.m. May 4th, candlelight vigil, 8 p.m., visitation 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., and May 5th, visitation 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. So, we're gonna throw out the welcome wagon for this, and, I'll be sending out letters to various businesses and fraternal organizations, within the city for any help that they can give. It doesn't have to be financial help. It could be volunteer help while it's here. It can be one of the things that the people will want to be made available to them is paper and crayons. So when they get to a name, they can place that up there and inscribe it on that paper. So it could be a lot of different things like that. So I just words don't have enough to describe what this could be, you know, coming to Marion, it's been a few years, 10 years since it's been, around here, so,
And they're looking for volunteers, so March the 12th at 6:30 at the Recreation Hall at the VA is where they're going to be holding some meetings, the first of meetings. So we'll have information on our city website and everything else, you know, for them to be able to help out.
you can go to our city website right now, and, you cannot?
Not right now, maybe later on tonight.
Is it on there yet?
No.
He's busy with his interns.
No.
Gotta get the interns on it in the morning.
Yeah, we got the interns, got those fixed up first.
I'll see Cadillac in the morning and get it done.
There you go.
There we go. So anyway, this is coming. Anything else?
I move we adjourn.
Okay, we've got a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yeah.
Commissioner Patton?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yeah.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Manella?
Good.
And have a
Their
And
next
I think
meeting will be
March 11th.
March 11th.
Yeah, next meeting will be March 11th at, 6:30. Let's go 6:30. Cool, everybody in their packet, there's animal ordinances in there.
Yeah.
Are you guys done?
What?
Are you guys done?
Yeah.